Miss Fairfax.
Pray, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Cecily Cardew.
Cecily Cardew, what a very sweet name. I like you already more than I can say. Something tells me we're going to be great friends. My first impressions of people are never wrong.
How nice of you to like me so much after we've known each other such a comparatively short time. Pray sit down.
Oh, I may call you Cecily, may I not?
With pleasure.
And you will always call me Gwendolyn, won't you?
If you wish.
And I suppose that's all quite settled, is it not?
I hope so.
Perhaps this might be a favorable opportunity for my mentioning who I am. My father is Lord Bracknell. You've never heard of Papa, I suppose.
No, I don't think so.
Outside the family circle, Papa is, I am glad to say, almost entirely unknown. I think that is as it should be. Certainly when a man starts neglecting his domestic duties in the home, he becomes painfully effeminate, does he not? And I don't like that. It makes men so very attractive. Cecily, Mamma, whose views on education are quite strict, has brought me up to be extremely short-sighted. It's part of her system, so do you mind my looking at you through my glasses?
Oh, not at all, Gwendolyn. I am very fond of being looked at.
You're here on a short visit, I suppose.
Oh, no, I live here.
Really? Your mother, no doubt, or some female relative of advanced years resides here also.
No, I have no mother, nor in fact any relations.
Indeed.
Yes, my dear guardian, with the assistance of Miss Prism, has the arduous task of looking after me.
Your guardian?
Yes, I'm Mr. Worthing's ward.
Oh. Mr. Worthing never mentioned to me that he had a ward. How secretive of him. He grows more interesting hourly. I cannot say, however, that the news inspires me with feelings of unmixed delight. I am very fond of you, Cecily. I've liked you ever since I met you, but I feel bound to state now that I know that you are Mr. Worthing's ward, well, I cannot help but to express a wish that you were just a bit older than you appear to be, and perhaps not quite so alluring in appearance. In fact, if I may speak quite candidly, Cecily.
Oh, pray do. I think that whenever one has anything important to say, one should always be quite candid.
Well, to speak with perfect candor, Cecily, I wish that you were fully 42 and more than usually plain for your age. Ernest has a strong, upright nature. He is the very soul of truth and honor. Disloyalty would be as impossible to him as deceit, but even men of the noblest possible moral character are incredibly susceptible to the influences of the physical charms of others. Modern, no less ancient history supplies us with many most painful examples of what I refer to. If it were not so, indeed, history would be quite unreadable.
I beg your pardon, Gwendolyn. Did you say Ernest?
Yes.
It's not Mr. Ernest Worthing who is my guardian. It is his brother, his elder brother.
Ernest never mentioned to me that he had a brother.
Sorry to say they have not been on very good terms for a long time.
Oh, that accounts for it. Now that I think of it, I've never heard any men mention he had a brother. The subject must be distasteful to most men. Oh, Cecily, you have lifted a load from my mind. I was growing almost anxious. It would have been dreadful if a cloud passed over a friendship such as ours, would it not? Of course, you are quite sure that it is not Mr. Ernest Worthing who is your guardian.
Quite sure. In fact, I'm going to be his.
I beg your pardon?
My dear Gwendolyn, I see no reason why I should make a secret of it to you. A little county newspaper sure to chronicle the fact next week. Mr. Ernest Worthing and I are engaged to be married.
My darling Cecily, I think that there must be some slight error. Mr. Ernest Worthing is engaged to me. The announcement is to appear in Saturday at the Morning Post at the latest.
My dear Gwendolyn, I fear you must be under some misconception. Mr. Ernest Worthing proposed to me exactly 10 minutes ago.
It's very curious, for Mr. Ernest Worthing proposed to me yesterday afternoon at 5:30. If you care to verify the incident, pray do so. I never travel without my diary. One should always have something sensational to read on the train. I am so sorry, dear Cecily, if this is any disappointment to you, but I am afraid that I have the prior claim.
My dear Gwendolyn, it would cause me more anguish than I could tell you were I to cause you any physical or mental pain. But I feel bound to point out that since Ernest proposed to you, he has clearly changed his mind.
If the poor fellow has been entrapped into any foolish promise, I will consider it my duty to rescue him at once, and with a firm hand.
Whatever unfortunate entanglement my dear boy may have gotten into, I shall never reproach him for it once we are married.
Do you allude to me, Miss Cardew, as an entanglement? You are presumptuous. On an occasion such as this, it becomes more than a moral duty to speak one's mind. It becomes a pleasure.
Do you suggest, Miss Fairfax, that I entrapped Ernest into any sort of engagement? How dare you? This is no time for wearing a shallow mask of manners. When I see a spade, I call it a spade.
I am glad to say that I have never seen a spade. It is obvious our social spheres are widely different.
Shall I lay tea here as usual, miss?
Yes, as usual.
Are there many interesting walks in the vicinity, Miss Cardew?
Yes, a great many. From the top of one of the hills quite close by, one can see 5 counties.
5 counties. I don't think I should like that. I hate crowds.
I suppose that's why you live in town?
Quite a well-kept garden, this is Miss Cardew.
So glad you like it, Miss Fairfax.
I had no idea there were so many flowers in the country.
Flowers are as common here, Miss Fairfax, as people are in London.
Personally, I cannot imagine how anybody manages to exist in the country. That is, if anybody who is anybody does. The country always bores me to death.
This is what the newspapers call agricultural depression, is it not? I believe the aristocracy is very full of it right now. It is almost an epidemic amongst them, I believe. May I offer you some tea, Miss Fairfax?
Yes, thank you. Detestable girl, but I require tea.
Sugar?
No, thank you. Sugar is not fashionable anymore.
Cake or bread and butter?
Bread and butter, please. Cake is rarely seen at the best houses nowadays.
Hand that to Miss Fairfax.
You have filled my tea with lumps of sugar. And though I most distinctly asked for bread and butter, you have given me cake. I am known for the incredible patience of my nature and the extreme sweetness of my disposition, but I warn you, Miss Cardew, you may go too far.
To save my poor, innocent, trusting boy from the machinations of any other girl, there's no lengths to which I would not go.
From the moment I saw you, I distrusted you. I found you to be false and deceitful. I am never deceived in such matters. My first impressions of people are invariably right.
It seems to me, Miss Fairfax, that I am trespassing on your valuable time. No doubt you have many other calls of a similar nature to make in the neighborhood.